Hey everyone, it's Alexa at Grace and Cherish. I am outside because yesterday Brandon and I were fixing up our garden beds. So I've shared before that we had our garden beds going north-south here, and we decided that because the sun goes, from east to the west, that we should change our garden beds and have them run east-west. Part of it was because we were going to have things growing up on a trellis, so we were going to have tomatoes and other things like that. We'll have peppers, that we'll have growing up and stuff too. And so we were wondering, whether or not camera lens. We were wondering whether or not that would impact just having casting a shadow on the other plants that weren't as tall. So we were listening to some other people who farm and stuff like that, and we're like, all right, let's run our beds east to west. But that meant that we had to come out here and all the beds that we had already laid, since we're doing no dig gardening, so you can see all the cardboard we have, and then we layered that with leaves, and then we layered that with compost. You don't have to layer it with leaves before you layer it with compost, but we live on a lot of acreage, or at least a lot for us, but a lot of trees on our acreage. We have a lot of leaves, so I was like, let's use them. But that made it a little bit trickier when we were moving the dirt we had 4 beds. So let me see if you can see, I had a raised bed. We had 4 raised beds that we inherited last year from a community garden that was closing down. So they were like, you can have, whatever's here, they gave it. And so a friend of mine told me about it. We went, got the free beds, ended up, got some soil from them, bought our own amendments and things for the soil, and then we put those up, and that was our first time doing a garden other than a pot of tomatoes that I did when we lived in Portland. So it was first time, new for all of us. We had some successes. Who knew how easy cucumber and zucchini are to grow? It was great. Arugula did really well when we did our fall garden. The watermelon, we had watermelon grow. It was very exciting. Now we put our watermelon in a 4x16 bed. Wasn't smart. We planted 4 of them in that size, which we learned is not the right thing to do, but that's how you learn. So anyway, I say all that because we wanted to, we went from 4 raised beds as very, very novice gardeners to now we're making a 45 by 45 foot garden bed. But with this 4 by 16 bed that we have, the raised bed, we decided, I was lining up all the other beds that we were making. There were 4 of them with about 2 feet in between, and I just was making them the same width and length of the 4 by 16 bed. So it was just all the way across. But now we changed it to where you can kind of see that they're now 4 foot by 20 foot beds. So we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 4 by 20 foot beds going east-west. And then let me see if I don't have a good setup for my stuff. Let me do this. I'll just do that for you. So you can see these beds over here. Those ones are shaped a little bit differently. And then actually back over there, our bushes are gonna go all the way. Our raspberry bushes and blueberry bushes are gonna go in the back and the farthest side on the other side of the raised garden beds there. But let me go back here. Hopefully, forgive me, y'all. I got a janky setup. Anyway, so yesterday, Brandon and I were working on this, laying them all out. We have to finish these beds closest to us. This is where our we're gonna have flowers in the first bed. Then behind that, we're gonna have watermelon, bush snap peas, and then behind that, I'm looking at either doing flowers again or doing the peppers. I haven't decided. I thought I had decided and then wanted to change some things around. We're also gonna grow corn and pumpkins. I'm very excited. Very excited. People keep telling me to be worried. They're like, it's going to take over. And I mean, we have a lot of space back here, so I was like, it's okay if it takes over, but I'm hoping, my hope, and for all y'all that actually know about growing corn, I have not done it, but I'm excited to see, traditionally, the 3 sisters, they talk about growing beans, pumpkins, corn, or I guess it's squash, right? Beans, squash, corn together, right? And I'm going to do our pole beans in a different location, but growing the corn and the pumpkins together, the hope is that the vines might even go up the corn. I don't know. That's what someone told me. So I was like, I'll try. I watched some videos, but I'm trying to learn from a few people. And I love, on here, I've received several comments from people already teaching me this and that, which I am very thankful for. So feel free to keep sharing your insights because I love that. I love getting to share knowledge, and it only helps us all get better, right? I have learned from people who have written in comments on other videos, and I'm thankful for that knowledge sharing. I have also no idea whether or not what I think might happen will happen. And I think there's a beauty in that. I think that there's something we can all learn, right? About just trying some stuff out, screwing up miserably and figuring it out. I'd rather do that with growing corn and pumpkin than like, you know, raising my kids. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's a small thing compared to something bigger. But anyway, what we did here, I'm happy we did it. We have to finish these beds here. We got to lay some more compost. I got a pile of it, like right behind this camera now, of compost that we need to still dig and put on here. So that's on our task list over the next couple of weeks. Our estimated last frost date is April 3rd. So I did do some seed starting, which I'm actually gonna go inside and start some seeds for tomatoes. I've mentioned before, the big thing that we want to do for our family are grow tomatoes and grow peppers. And I really wanna try canning. We wanna grow those foods because we eat them a lot, so we want to grow them. And I really want to try canning and making my own pasta sauce, because I actually don't really like a lot of the pasta sauce I get at the store. So I was like, well, let me try to make some. Not because I'm the best cook, but I know how to follow a recipe. And I feel like I can probably find a recipe that's really good that I can make and can. So that's my goal. If you have any recipes that you'd recommend, let me know. Help us out. But anyway, we're gonna do some seed starting. I'm very, very excited for this. I also have already learned a few lessons in just starting the broccoli and peppers that I started. So I'll share those when we go back inside. But here is the garden. I'm so excited to feed my family and to feed others, because that's what Philo is about. Hospitality, serving other people, welcoming them into our property so that they can experience it and enjoy it. And also, I'm really hopeful that we'll get to share our food. That is what we want to do. Share our food with others and just enjoy the bounty together. So I am gonna go inside now and get my seed starting stuff up. So I will start this up again once I'm inside. Spotted in the wild. He doesn't know I'm filming him. Surveying the land. He was just laying out some new cardboard. He's the guy behind the scenes. Doesn't like to be in front of the camera. Just wants to be the one doing the work in the background. And I'm thankful for it. All right, putting gloves on. First time I did this, I didn't, but seems like a good idea. Okay, so I use Espoma Organic Seed Starter Mix, and it is pretty moist, but I'm going to put a little bit of water in it from the things that were suggested. You like my picture? This is what I had. From what I had seen suggested, it was that you don't want it soggy but damp. So since it's already pretty moist, I'm not gonna do too much, and it didn't seem like I needed to do too much for the other stuff that I started. It was pretty darn good. I laugh, it's kind of embarrassing because like some people, I don't know, people have their methods, you can get like insecure about it, but again, I feel like it's all an experiment. I'm just trying things. But my seeds that I've started so far, I will show a picture because I am excited for the broccoli and the pepper that's been started, and it's going all right so far. But I have learned a few things. One of the things that I've learned through just in the very few weeks that I've been doing this is how like we put heat mats underneath, because everything I read talks about peppers, make sure they have heat. Tomatoes, same thing, right? So we have the heat mats, I'm ready to go. But we put them in our basement, which yes, basements are colder, right, typically than the rest of the home. And our basement's not finished or anything, so it just kind of is. And so we put our stuff there. We got an LED light versus a fluorescent light. And so that was interesting too, because I kept telling my husband, like, it's gotta be 2 to 3 inches, above the seed once it germinates, and it's popping out, all of that. And he's like, we have an LED one. And I was just like, no, like, it has to be. And then we did some research and I'm like, oh, yes, the LED light, just like the directions say, you can have more distance between them. So fix that, made sure that was going. But while we had the light set up correct, we had our heat mat, everything is good. We had them on a metal table with nothing between the heat mat and the metal table. So my husband, being the engineer he is, went in to, explain to me why he goes on metal and it disperses through the metal as opposed to going into with the plants. And so what we did a test because I was like, I'm afraid that it's too cold. And he checked the soil and it said it was 68 degrees. Now, according to the Farmer's Almanac, if you go on their website, it says that you want a minimum of 60 degrees for peppers, but optimum is more along, it was like in between 65 and 95. It was a big range. And so I was actually trying to shoot for more like 75. So it was at 68. So technically fine, but I was like, let's get a little warmer. So we just ordered the thermometer that comes with the mat. We bought a mat without a thermometer where you could set the temperature. So we just went ahead and ordered that and it's supposed to come today. Thank you, Amazon. And so then we'll have the temperature be a little bit warmer. Because again, for the peppers and the tomatoes, like we're really banking on having those do well. I really would like to if I'm gonna be a master at anything, I would love to be a master at flowers and at peppers and tomatoes. Because again, we eat them a lot. So anyway, that was something that I learned, just even, what you put under it. So some people are suggesting you could put a moving blanket under them or something. So yeah, we have to fix that. It's gonna be much easier when we are able to have the seedlings, like when we start hardening them off and bringing them outside and stuff. Because even this room I'm in now is our screen porch, and it'll just be so much easier. It'll be more space. But anyway, that was something good to learn. Don't put the heat mat straight on a metal table. Lesson learned. And again, it wasn't terrible because we had one, so what I'm using are these. We had one of these containers full of broccoli. Of these. These are containers, oh, you know what I just realized? Let me finish my thought and then I'll show you what I just realized. So these containers are what we use to plant our tea seeds, because one of the things that we've talked about doing is starting a tea farm. Now, tea takes 5-6 years to be able to harvest. It is, you're in it for the long game if you grow tea. And the reason we wanted to do tea, again, was to go along with our theme of hospitality. And we thought there aren't many tea farms in the Southeast. We have visited some to learn from them, because there are a few in South Carolina. There are some actually out in Oregon where we used to live. They have a temp, like the environment is suitable for growing tea, but also out here in the Southeast, Georgia, where we are in Georgia, outside Atlanta, that is also an area. Savannah is another area where you can grow tea. That's actually the tea farm we went to. There's one in South Carolina, a big one in South Carolina. And I know that there are a couple others, I think in Alabama or Mississippi. So anyway, we thought it would be a really unique thing to have a tea farm where people can come, even pick their own tea leaves. Now, I did not know that like black tea, green tea, white tea, that they're all from the same leaf, the same plant, but then it's how you process them that makes it black tea, green tea, or white tea and all that. So fascinating stuff. We are not sure whether or not that's what we're gonna do, but we do have a really good setup for it. Even the way that the land on the other side of our pond, which our pond kind of separates our property, like the two parts of our property. So on the other side of it, the way that the land is sloped actually would also do well with the tea. So anyway, that's something we might do. We're not sure, but Brandon did start 24 seedlings last year. Some of them, very few, are still surviving. We bought a 2-year-old plant, because again, they take many years before you can harvest them. But that one died this winter, so that was a bummer. But anywho, the reason I just made that is because I realized that rule number 1, make sure that your trays are clean. So these trays that I have right here are not clean because they had other stuff in them, but I did have, some of them were clean. So I just need to separate, because like this one is clean, but these ones are not. So I'm not gonna be able to do anything in these ones. I should have paid attention. Yes, this one's clean. This one's definitely not. Okay, that is a bummer. So I know that I'll bet this one's clean.
Yes.
Okay, so I can still do the main thing I wanted to do, which is excellent. So one of the things, okay, I have Espoma, and I've heard different brands are even better. A lot of people I talked to, including the lady who taught me about tea, said that Espoma is good. So that's why I ended up going with it. And then I've heard other gardeners share that. I know there might even be better brands, but that's what we're going with. And so far it seems like it's working. And today, let me actually take this off. I am going to start this right here, tomato beefsteak. And then I have, this one is from Dollar Seed. Then I have this one from M.I. Gardener. That's just your good old cherry tomatoes. I also have cherry tomatoes from Dollar Seed, and what I want to do is compare them and see if one does taste better than the other. So I'm gonna have to be, I can't film and do that because I want to make sure I'm really paying attention and labeling properly. Labels. I don't have my marker for the labels, but I have the labels. I'm not doing cucumbers yet. I'm actually gonna wait, but this bad boy came in. I didn't share this in my seed haul video because I didn't have these yet, I don't think. So this one is lilac bell pepper. I'm very excited. So I started California sweet bell peppers from Dollar Seed. I started 12 of those, 12, I think. And so then I have this lilac bell pepper, and then I have a coral bell pepper from M.I. Gardener as well, an orange bell pepper. So I'm gonna do that. And then my girls talked about how much they love tomatoes, and so I wanted to do another cherry tomato for them so that they could enjoy it and pop them like cherries or grapes. I don't know, whatever, you know what I mean. So those are the things that I am gonna start. What else have I been learning? It's been fun. I enjoy all the different things that you can learn on this. And like the gardening community people on YouTube are so kind. Everyone's so kind. Like, you know, you hear a lot about social media and like just, you know, people vitriol, anger, and I'm sure YouTube has that. I'm sure there's plenty of that. I mean, it's everywhere. But I have been so pleasantly, just joyfully surprised at how kind, and people want to just share like, this is a tip that worked for me and this works for you. And anyway, it's lovely. So I'm gonna get started on this for real. I've got my notebook so I can actually write everything down and the date that I started it along with labeling it. Yeah, I'm excited for that. And I'm curious, what do you use for your labels? What do you use for your seed starting? One of the big questions I had that I'm actually still researching is I am nervous about the seed starting because I don't fully know, like, how do you know when you take them out of this and put them into the next thing? We have a ton of blue solo cups, and I am just gonna use those to save some money because in our family we can't use a lot of plastic anyway because of health issues and stuff, which is part of why we wanted to jumpstart going on the garden. In addition to what we do at Philo, there's just the legitimate health reasons that we have to protect some of our kids. And so with the solo cups, I'm like, well, we have a bunch of them. At least I hope we still do. We did. And I was gonna drill holes in that and use them. So I know the whole like potting up, but there is that confusion of when do you pot up? So anyway, that's something that I'm researching and gonna find out. But that's like the thing that I'm like nervous about. I'm like, when do you know? But I also feel like you will know. You kind of got to trust the process and pay attention to your seedlings. So anyway, I will share some of what I have so far. The broccoli, I was afraid that they were getting leggy. I was like, they're leggy, Brandon, no. And then he's like, are you sure they're not supposed to look like this right now? So we're just giving it some time because they might not actually be at the point where they're leggy. But if you do have leggy seedlings, another tip I learned about just like making sure that they're watered, getting them warm enough, making sure that they're getting adequate light, and how that can help. Like, you don't have to just get rid of them. You can if you can, but like if you have the ability to just plant more, which I do because I have a lot of broccoli compared to what we can actually plant. But I wanted to see if I could just give it a shot and try to make sure that I'm giving them what they need to grow well. So gonna give it some time and not react, but respond. The garden's teaching me so much about life and hospitality and just how to interact with people as well as nature. So that's all I got for today. I hope that you enjoyed your time with me today. I look forward to continuing to learn from you. Please share in the comments what you are starting. If you're starting any seeds right now, I would love to know. One that I'm gonna be doing next, I mean, we have cucumbers that'll start in a little bit, flowers. Very, very excited to start with that as well. But I have some research I wanna do because if vegetables are new to me, flowers are even more so, and I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited. So tell me what it is that you're doing. Tell me where you're growing. I like learning from different people, where they're growing, what works for them, what doesn't. And until next time, be blessed, my friends. All right, just kidding, I'm back. I really will go after this, but I have to show you. Okay, I planted the lilac and the coral bell peppers. So we have those here. This tray, I didn't mean to make all 6 of them. What is it? Aunt Molly's ground cherry tomato, but there we go. And then I have some more cherry tomatoes over here. And then I did the tomato beefsteak. I did 3 little cells there. And then over here, these are all the, I want to say it's San Marzano, hopefully I'm saying that right, plums. So this is what I'm hoping to do some canning out of. Obviously I'll need a lot more tomatoes than this to do any real canning, but this is just what I'm starting with for now, and then we'll hopefully be planting more. But I just wanted to get something started. But anyway, I know I said goodbye, but I was like, I just finished, I have to show the world. Very, very excited for this. But now, for real, I'm out of here. Bless y'all. It's a new day. I hope that you go out and enjoy it. Whenever you're listening to this, just remember you are a person who matters. And I hope that you are encouraged today to go grow something, whether it's plants or a dream you have, I don't know. But I just hope that if nothing else, you know that you are a person of value and great significance. And be blessed. You might not be able to see it, but there is a hawk that's sitting on, I'm afraid if I open my door, it's gonna move, but it's sitting on the gray tarp. Now we have lots of hawks, but I did not grow up being able to see hawks all the time. Oh, do you see it moving? I wish I could zoom in closer so you could see it. Let me see. There's the hawk. Oh, I wish I had my other lens on right now. I'm afraid if I go get it, it'll be gone. Let's see. Oh, it's flying away. Oh, it's just going on top of the raised garden bed. I'm clearly not a National Geographic. There it is. Recorder. I'm gonna try to, oh, I don't want to be too shaky. How fun. It's one of the cool things about living out here. I'm gonna see if I can get around this tree. There it is. I really want this to be stable, not all shaky. How cool is that? Hello, Mr. Hawk. Sorry, this is so shaky. I'm not good at this. So cool. Let me try to get closer. And I probably won't get any closer than that. Tune in next week for the next episode of Into the Wild. Just kidding. Well, hope you enjoyed that. See you later.